I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Biddly. Fuck. I'm not even joking. Oh my God. Biddly, but yes. Here we go. There ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. Jumping in just for a quick review of the game in general. There's been a lot said about the game just in general and how bad West Ham were. And I did think they were poor, to be fair, but you know, they do have quality ultimately in the side, don't they? Like with Bowen and Paqueta and stuff, who I thought, I mean, Paqueta I think it's for Rodon's goal, and then the defending of him when Aronson just breezes past him is crazy. I do want to do a quick shout out to Aronson because I thought it was absolutely awesome and worked his knackers off like he always does. Rightfully got the man at match, and you know, I mean, he said mentality in his interview probably 145 times, but you know, it will have been, it's, you know, I sometimes question how strong he is as a gadget just in general, like his mental approach. Like I just remember obviously the relegation battle that we had when we went down. I said I don't like these relegation battles and all that, and I thought, well, yeah, who does? You know, that's part of being a footballer, isn't it? But credit to him, you know, took his goal well for what it was. You know, he got into the right position and moved the fastest in the box, basically, didn't he? And I thought their defending for that goal was absolutely astonishingly bad as well. It's just all defenders just allowed him just to run through. Crazy amount of added on minutes. On the 13 minutes, he's like, you know, like, Jesus Christ, talk about needing a piss. It was my brother's 40th as well, so we were all out getting lashed. So it was like, you know, I could have done without the 13 minutes, truth be told. But yeah, honestly, to a man, obviously there were a lot of changes made. Tanaka, Beal, Perry came back in. I thought Perry were decent, in fairness. Beal looked decent. He's, you know, it seems like a decent defender. I mean, he got a round of applause every time he made a 5-yard pass, which I don't really understand. And Tanaka's name were getting sung and shouted even when he put ball into Rose's head from a shot from edge of box. But I thought we started really well. Obviously, getting 2 goals in 15 minutes is amazing. My man Longstaff, yet again, whipping a lovely delivery in. The delivery that we've been talking about on this podcast for 2 years, I reckon, with how shit we've been with deliveries. And Longstaff just puts it into an area. Again, I think it's like, say, Paqueta, who just totally leaves Rodon just to do his own thing. But he takes his header really well. Okafor had a pretty big chance towards end of first half. It was good to see Okafor back. It does add a lot to us, doesn't it? And I also think it actually frees up Aronson a little bit more. It takes a bit of pressure off of him, you know, when it's Harrison and Aronson, I understand that it's slightly deflating. That, you know, it's not as exciting, is it? And Okafor does want to get at his right back and stuff. He doesn't always succeed with it, but like we've said again on the show many times, you want players to just, wingers particularly, you just want them to get at the fullback though as often as they can. But yeah, in summary, so I thought it was an excellent first half. Second half, we seem to waver a little bit. Farka mentioned that, you know, the last 10, 15 minutes that the legs have perhaps gone slightly, which I think, you know, fair enough, you know, and it's a lot of pressure on games as well, isn't there? But I thought it was good to, Farka also alluded to this, but conceding, obviously you don't want to concede, but ultimately once you have done, hanging in there and getting the 3 points is massive, isn't it? Because again, I know I go on about moments, but Friday night, Sunday lights, you know, if you end up leaving that with a draw after the start you've made, you're in bad shape, aren't you? It panics me going forward, but it's another 3 points on board. We're now about same pace away from being third in the league as we are to the drop. So we're banging the middle, aren't we, basically, with however many, 7 points off drop, 7 points off top. We're not 7 points off top, but 7 points off, I don't know, a fourth or something. So, you know, we can still look up, which I've been banging on about all season, or particularly at the start of the season. I'm saying, you know, we want to be looking up the table as opposed to looking down the table. A lot of people going on about Sunderland. Obviously, they're still playing really well. I do think Sunderland will drop off, but again, we're not in competition with Sunderland or Burnley to stay up. We're in competition with ourselves. Massive 3 points. We've now won the same amount of games as Liverpool, is it? Is that right? Basically, there's been a lot going round now. Gabby Logan, I think it was on Match at Day, was saying that there's not a team with our amount of points after this amount of games that's ever gone down. So it's 100% record. I don't really know why that has been said. So we're not obviously not safe, but we have made what would be deemed as a start that has 100% success rate of staying up, which is both mint, terrifying, quality, and frightening, all in sort of, you know, all in the mixing pot in the gel. So yeah, extraordinarily hungover today, to be fair. I've been on it all weekend for my brother's 40th, so I went to game on Friday night and then in Harrogate last night for a few swallies for his surprise party, which I nearly foolishly said in the video on Friday, I think it was, whenever I did a video. I nearly said, and then tomorrow night, and I thought, well, Jesus Christ, if he watches the video, the surprise is going to be over, isn't it? But yeah, we're mint atmosphere. We went a bit quiet again. When game gets a little bit tetchy and that, and I understand, but it's like we've got to stay super sharp, haven't we, as a fan base, and just stay crazy. But yeah, overall, I mean, the atmosphere was mental. The 2 goals, there wasn't much for us because obviously I'm down Cop End, so the first half it were into other stand and then northeast, south stand way, and then into north the stand, the Cop, which we need to remain calling it the Cop, as I've been told. Brilliant 3 points. West Ham a really poor performance. West Ham have been poor all season. You need to beat teams while they're down. You know, they do have quality. Paqueta, Bowen, you know, they've got some decent players. We nullified it completely, didn't we? Obviously got a late goal for them. A couple of shaky moments, perhaps, but I thought we, you know, weathered any sort of storm that will come in. We seem to be able to manage to carry the ball, which is the lack of West Ham's bite in midfield was mental. There was obviously the one where it's gone around Twitter a lot where Aronson's, I think he beats every single man on field and then it ends up a deflected shot, ends up hitting bar. But Ampadu did it as well, where it's just like, it just breaks away and it just goes and like the midfield just completely opened up. I mean, if Aronson goes in, it's goal at season, and then Ampadu has another go. And he, you know, on Cruyff turn on edge at box, they're just defensively, they were so weak, weren't they? Like, they looked like cannon fodder, to be honest. It looked like what everybody was saying that we'll look like, or Burnley look like, or Sunderland will look like. We look like the side that had been in the Premier League the longest, you know, which is obviously not the case. West Ham are an extremely established Premier League side, aren't they, at this point? Don't look good for them, but we don't care about that. They want to keep results going our way, but ultimately, we just got to keep getting the 3 points. We're on track to stay safe. It's all about safety in this game, boys. Boys, Bob, Mimi. Take it easy, everybody. 3 points in the bag, in the nut sack. Good performance all round. Justin, when he came on, I thought he'd give a good account of himself. To be fair, second half's a bit of a blur, bit pissed. Schwallied.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.